The bike we're checking out today is absolutely insane. Just listen to this. It has one of the lowest standover heights on the market. It's kitted out with the 72 volt, 5,300 watt, completely silent direct drive motor that puts out a mind-melting 175 Newton meters of torque. It does all that using a massive 60 amp sine wave controller and even has a top speed of up to 50 miles an hour. But that's with a 125 pound rider, and I'm a little bit more than that. So we'll find out for sure when we take it outside and put it through the gauntlet with all of these real world tests. 30, 40, or 50 amp hour options for an internal battery, plus a 20 amp hour secondary battery up top. According to my analytics, this bike comes from one of the most popular American e-bike brands on the market, Goat Power Bikes. It's called the Mini Goat, but there's nothing mini about that power, man. And you can get everything here for under $3,000 after applying my discount. Just saying. In this video, I'm gonna show you everything you need to know to figure out if this is the right bike for you. And if you're anything like me, you're gonna love this thing. So while I top up all 70 amp hours of potential battery capacity on this thing with the supplied dual 5 amp chargers, why don't we start with the beauty shots? Cue the B-roll. Right, before we get started with the close-ups, I need a huge favor from all of you guys out there. I want to continue bringing in some of the coolest bikes on the channel and riding them with you guys. But I can only do that if you subscribe to the channel. It's plain and simple. The more subscribers we get on the channel, the cooler the bikes will be in the future videos. It's completely free and it helps out way more than you know. On this channel, I don't sell merch or do any of that cheesy crap. I just want to ride cool bikes and show them to you guys. That's it. So help a brother out. It takes 2 seconds. Cheers. So let's start by checking out the fit on this Mini Goat. For reference, I'm 5'9", and this bike fits me like a dream. Look at this. I can reach the ground flat-footed, and with a heavy bike like this with so much battery, you need to have a solid base, just like a motorcycle. But the one thing I'm noticing is that for a bike with such a low standover, it's not that short. It still has a really nice roomy reach. Of course, you can bring the handlebars closer to you or a little bit further away if you've got long arms. But man, look at this thing. I just can't wait to take this thing out and show it to you guys. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. Today is gonna be a good day because I am riding the brand new Mini Goat from Goat Power Bikes. I'm gonna show you everything you could possibly want to know about this beautiful bike. And to be honest, with the test I'm gonna show you, I couldn't bullshit you if I tried. You're gonna see how fast it goes. You're gonna see if it can brake or not. You're gonna see how well it climbs hills. Of course, I'm gonna talk about a couple of things like overall comfort, maybe bike and ride quality, the build process with this bike and what it's like to own one. But just take it from a guy that's ridden well over 50 bikes this year. I'm not here to sell you this bike. There are so many e-bikes out there. I'm here to show you what you want to know about this bike so that you can make an educated decision. That's it. Let's check out the wheels and tires, because for a bike that goes 40 to 50 miles an hour, the wheels and tires are going to be one of the most important things that keep you connected to the road. The Mini Goat rolls on a set of 12-inch wheels and the tires are 4 inches wide. And these aren't cheap bike tires. They're motorcycle grade with big, thick tread and a nice, steady tread pattern right down the middle. This will keep it super nice and quiet on the roads. And then when we lean the bike over in the gravel and in the dirt, these will dig in. And check out these mag wheels. These don't have spokes like a normal bike wheel. These are gonna be super stiff, super strong, and they're gonna stay straight for the entire life of the bike. So when you get a new bike, you gotta kind of get used to it, right? So that's what we're gonna do right now. I'm gonna test the handling. And there's a couple of things I'm curious about. One, these tires. These are dual sport tires. They've got big, thick knobs, but they're actually spaced out. And they've got a nice, steady stream, right? Nice, solid tread right here in the middle to keep it super quiet on the street. These technically will go off-road. They've got nice, chunky, fat treads, but they're not off-road tires, right? So they should be great on nice, smooth pavement like we've got here today. The other thing that I'm curious about is how this thing's gonna feel when I'm turning with it. Just because this is a heavy bike, right? I've got a big internal battery as well as the additional second battery up here. So the weight is not really down low, right? If all I had was the internal battery, the weight would be mostly down low. But with this external battery here, it puts the weight up high, and I don't know how it's gonna feel when I'm kind of leaning it over. So let's see. I'm gonna stick it in pedal assist number 1. Just kind of go, you know, what is this gonna take me to? 13, 15, let's go a little faster. There you go. And let's lean it over. Oh my God. It is so agile. And you know what? I think the weight helps with this bike. It just feels like it's glued to the ground. Wow. This is so good. Woo. It's not twitchy, it's just long and smooth, composed. Like, man, this is as good as it gets when it comes to handling. For suspension, the Mini Goat's got a rear coil by Fast Ace. This rear shock's got a 1,000-pound spring that you can set the preload by twisting this ring up here. Now, a 1,000-pound spring might seem like a lot, but with the amount of battery and weight that you can put on this bike, this is necessary, and still the suspension is super plush. Not only do you get an adjustable preload coil, but this shock also has rebound to slow it down. Last thing you want is this to feel like a pogo stick and keep bouncing you up and down. You want it nice and controlled. And it's also got a blue compression setting right up at the top. And up front, the Goat's got an inverted fork. This keeps the front suspension super light and fluttery, really nice and responsive to small bumps. And up top here, there's a compression setting. You can tune the shock to be nice and soft or super stiff if you want. Crank this thing all the way and you can lock it out too. Okay, let's go do a little off-roading, shall we? Oh man, the ride is so smooth. Guys, like, I am not joking. The suspension on this thing is just Velcroed to the ground. Must be because the bike's so heavy. There's so much battery on this bike that it just makes the suspension work like butter. It is so nice. Woo! Hi, Bunny. And these tires, for being somewhat street tires, have quite a bit of grip, even on this loose gravel here. Oh. Very nice. I gotta say, the ride on this thing is one of the smoothest rides I've had all year. And the cool thing with this bike, and I'll probably say it a couple of times in the video, is that it's got a low standover, right, to make it good for short people, but it's a long bike, so it's super stable. And the little wheels just make it so good at accelerating. I can't wait to find out what the top speed is on this thing. Time to take the Mini Goat off-road and maybe onto the beach. We'll see how high the tide is. I'm a little concerned because these small 12-inch wheels don't have really big tires on them. And in my personal experience, the smaller the tire, the more it digs into the sand. So Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. Okay, make sure I don't hit the camera. All right, and we're through. Man, the suspension on this little goat is so smooth. I gotta be careful here because it just rained last night and it's a little bit muddy. Little slick. But man, this is not an off-road bike by any stretch of the means, but it's very capable. All right, we got sand. Yeah, there's a little bit of sand. All right, here we go. All right, so it looks like there's a lot of wet sand out there, which may or may not be good for us. We'll find out in just a sec. But just to help this goat along on the beach, I'm gonna turn the start strength back up to 5, just to give us as much, you know, start strength. That's really all it is. So I'm gonna go to 5. There we go. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, just like I thought. It's hard to keep your balance when the tires dig in that much. But man, this thing has so much power. It's unreal. Yeah, no problems in the sand. Even with these little tires, it's no problem. I'm accelerating on the beach. Oh man. Okay, let's see if we can turn around here. Oh. Hard to steer, but once you get going, right, no problems. All right, let's get out of here before we cook this motor. Woo! Very, very capable. This is not an off-road bike by any stretch of the imagination, but it can go off-road. Okay, let's open it up. Woo! Smooth. Oh! Whoa! Almost lost it there. Okay, Ben, focus. Stay upright. Woo! Nice. Okay, off-road test, check. So the drivetrain is pretty laughable on a bike like this, but I still gotta show it to you and we're still gonna test it. In the back, there's no derailleur. This is just a chain tensioner. This keeps the chain from rattling around and making a ton of noise when you go over bumps. There's also no big clunky cassette in the back, just one gear, that's it. And up front, you get a nice small chain ring that's protected on both sides by guards. Some of the shortest little cranks I have ever seen. Look at this next to my hand. And for pedals, well, they're metal Welgo pedals. We've seen these on a ton of bikes before. So this is considered an e-bike after all. It does have a set of pedals. I mean, they're tiny short cranks, you know, metal Welgo pedals, somewhere to rest your feet. But it does have a chain, it does have a cadence sensor. So let's test that right now. I don't know who in their right mind would buy a bike like this to pedal around. But the one and only reason this thing has pedals is just to look somewhat legal on bike paths and bike lanes and things like that. So let's do that. Let's go to pedal assist 0. So this should be the bike with no power. Look at these little things. I don't know if I can point the camera down, but look at how tiny these are. Look at how stupid I look pedaling this thing. But it's got pedals, so we gotta test it, right? Let's go to pedal assist number 1. There we go. Already I'm at 13 miles an hour and I'm ghost pedaling. Like, it's literally just to get going. Let's go to pedal assist 2. Picking up all the speed here. 20, 21, 24. And let's see if we can break 40 miles an hour in pedal assist 5. 35. 37, 40 miles an hour. Woo. Okay, that's as fast as I want to go while pedaling a bike and kind of like jostling back and forth. Oh, that's sketchy. This is definitely a throttle bike. So while we head over to set up for the brake test, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my first impressions with the bike. And I gotta be perfectly honest with you. I've had this bike for over 2 months now. It's just been sitting in my garage. I've taken it out for a few rides, but it's gone through some changes, even just the short 2 months that I've had it. First, they sent me the bike, and then a couple weeks later, just as I was getting ready to, build it, film it, and get everything done for the video, the guys at Go Power Bike sent me an email saying that, hey Ben, wait up, if you haven't shot the video yet, just wait a few weeks because we just developed a brand new 72 volt motor that'll just blow the stock one out of the water. And guess what? We're gonna outfit every bike going forward with this new upgraded motor. So I'm like, sweet, right? Let's do that. So I still rode the bike a little bit around town and a couple little errands here and there, just for fun, right? It's such a fun bike to ride. I couldn't imagine how much better this new motor would be. But after putting it on, I can tell you guys that this motor is even quieter than the first one. The first one's got like a little bit of a whine, just like my Motor Goat V3. Oh, close. You can hear it just a little bit, but this is completely silent. You can't hear anything out of this bike, just the wind blowing by your ears. And they didn't just stop at upgrading the motor, they upgraded the controller as well. This is a sine wave controller. It's one of the best, most efficient controllers out there, especially when you have a 72 volt system with this much power. Guys, you can feed over 5,000 watts to this rear motor. It's absolutely insane. So upgrading the controller was definitely a good thing to do. So I put those on and man, I've ridden $4,000, $5,000 bikes that didn't feel anywhere as close to good quality as this. This bike, it looks industrial, it looks rough. Some of the bolts on there, all scuffed up, and it looks like, it was put together in someone's garage and it was just like hand built. But like, this is such a cool look to me. But everything else about the bike, from the battery connections to the controller, the electronics, the way you can tune the bike, everything on this bike, the suspension, the brakes, everything feels so premium. It's unreal. My first impressions with the bike with the old motor and the old controller was super high. Now that the upgrades are on, it's even better. So a bike that's designed to go this fast needs some powerful brakes, right? The Mini Goat's outfitted with a nice set of 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes. And get this, the rotor setup's a little bit different. Up front, you get a 180 mil rotor, and out back, you get a 203 mil rotor. I'm assuming that the added weight of this big 72 volt motor has something to do with the bigger disc rotor in the back. And here's a close-up of the hydraulic brake levers. They take mineral oil, so they're super easy to maintain. Plus, this lever can be adjusted with this little screw here. You can bring the levers in or out depending on how big your fingers are. Why don't we go outside and see how they perform? Time to set up for the brake test. Here's the marker I want to stop by. And I've got about a 20-foot distance where my bike is right now. I'm gonna try to do my best to go about 28 miles an hour because that's what most e-bikes can get to. And I'm gonna slam on the brakes here and hopefully within 20 feet, I can stop at that second marker. I've got pretty high hopes. This bike does have a 203 mil rotor in the back with big 4-piston calipers. I don't know why they put a 180 mil rotor up front and a 203 out back. I'm sure the guys at Go Power Bikes have done a ton of testing and maybe 203 was just too much grab for such a small wheel. You kind of got to keep it safe, right? This bike is heavy, this bike is fast, so to come to a stop in a controlled manner is super important with a bike like this. So let's turn it around. I'm gonna get some distance here. I won't have to go far to get 28 miles an hour with this thing. There we go. All right. So guys, I know that you know that this bike can definitely go faster than 28 miles an hour, but keeping all of my brake tests at 28 miles an hour is the only way that I have to show you guys the actual bike's braking performance, right? It wouldn't be fair for a bike like this that goes well over 40 miles an hour to go top speed into that brake test and to be measured at the same distance as a bike that can only do 28 miles an hour, right? So let's do that. Let's keep it fair. I'm gonna try to get 28 miles an hour before that first marker, keep it there, and then slam on the brakes. Hopefully we stop before that second marker. Let's go. Okay, 17, 21, 24, 27, 28 already. And brake. Oh. Look at this. Well within, oh, I can smell the burning rubber. Nice, love that smell. Well within the braking distance. I mean, this is as good as it gets, guys. You get some nice road specific tires, right? With some big sticky treads on there, nice dry road. That's as good as it gets. It's a little bit of a weird brake setup, but you know what? It works for this bike. Personally, I think that not having a 203 rotor in the front is probably just due to safety. They just don't want that smaller wheel up front to just lock up and for you to lose all control of the bike, right? What a sick ride. Okay, now we're getting to the fun stuff. Here's a close-up of the big 72 volt, 5300 watt peak direct drive motor. This thing is completely silent. Just try to hear it in the ride footage. Powering that big 5000 watt motor is a 60 amp controller hidden right here under the seat. Okay, let me turn on the screen to show you guys. Hold the power button, get the GOAT Power Bikes logo. There we go. So you get a bunch of icons up here, from the headlight to any servicing that needs to be done. There's GPS, you can Bluetooth your phone app to it, cruise control, and then when you hold the brakes, it'll give you a warning here. Top right, you get a battery meter with percentage, so you can see exactly how much is left in your battery. Not only that, but you get the battery's voltage as well to be super accurate. You can set up the bike's computer however you want it. I decided to go with only 3 power modes: 0, 1, 2, and 3. You guys know me, I usually stay in 3 anyways. In the middle here, you get a speedometer. You can set it in miles or kilometers an hour. And down here, you get a wattage output for your motor. You can see exactly how many thousands of watts are running through that little motor in the back. And down here, of course, you get all of your information: your odometer, your trip, your average speed, and whatever pedal assist mode you're in. If you hold the plus and minus button, you can also get into the general and speed settings of the bike. This is nice because you're not dealing with P01 or P03 settings that you have to decipher through a manual. Everything here is in plain English, and you can see exactly what you're doing. Let's see how fast we can get this motor spinning without any weight on it. 73 miles an hour. How crazy is that? Time to do the hill test. I always start right here at my fire hydrant, and up ahead I've got a super long sustained 15% grade hill. I'm gonna go in pedal assist number 3. I've only set 3 modes, should be fine for today. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I got my GPS here on the right for reference. And just so you guys know, I'm about 190 pounds right now. I've got 30 miles an hour up on the hill. I love how silent this thing is. You can't hear the motor at all. 31 miles an hour uphill. This is gonna be fun. Woo. Let's go over to Test Drive Island. We'll unlock the bike and really find out what it's got for top speed. But just before we take it to Test Drive Island and really unlock this thing, find out what it's got in the cells, let's see how fast it accelerates. I always start right here at my lamp pole, and just up ahead there's a driveway pullout. If I can get to 20 miles an hour, we got a fast bike. And something tells me that 5,000 watts at 72 volts is probably gonna get me there. Let's go pedal assist 3. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. 7, 14, 18, 22, 25, 27 miles an hour. Welcome to Test Drive Island, where I take all of my fast bikes, and this is no exception. I'm so excited to find out how fast this thing goes with me sitting on it. Now, there's a couple of things you can do in the settings. Let me show you. Hopefully you guys can see the screen here. When you hold the plus and minus buttons, gets you into the settings here. And in general, you can set everything from wheel size to boost gear. I don't really understand any of it, but start strength is something that you can really tweak, and this affects how the bike accelerates. So 0 is a really smooth and slow ramp up to full power. I'm gonna set it to 5, which is the fastest acceleration you could have on the bike. To be honest, I've been kind of going back and forth this morning between 4 and 5, and 5 is a little bit harsh. You'll see. I prefer the 4 setting. It just gives you a little, like maybe a second just of nice smooth ramp up, and then it just kicks in. Really, really nice. My personal preference. But for the speed test here, I'm gonna go in start strength 5 and really give it everything it's got. I'm so excited. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, it's just like kicks, and it just sits you right back in the seat. 20 miles an hour already. I'm gonna look at the GPS because I think that one's probably the most accurate. 36, 38, 40, 43, 44, 45, 46, I'm gonna tuck, see if that makes a difference. 47, woo. Wow! Now that's a rush. Holy! 47 miles an hour with me sitting on it. Now there was a little bit of a headwind, but man, like that's as fast as I want to be going on a bike. What a rush. Let's take a look at the controls. Starting here on the right, you get a full twist throttle and an ignition key. There's no power going to the bike until you turn this on. And on the left, you get the same grip, but this one doesn't twist though. The first remote here is for all of your lights and horn. You can turn your hazards on up here. You get low beams and high beams. The middle position will just give you daytime running lights. You get turn signals, left and right, and you get a horn. And next to it's the nice simple remote to handle all of your bike settings. You get a plus and minus buttons to go up and down your pedal assist modes, and your power button right here. So while we're out here testing the pedaling and the top speed, I'm gonna show you 2 tests that I usually like to do just to figure out how responsive a bike is. These bikes have a lot of power, and to be perfectly honest, to have this much power and not being able to control it properly is super sketchy. Trust me, I've been on some bikes that have an on-off throttle, and it's just jarring how much power comes on, how quickly it comes on, and it's no fun. Like, it just makes the bike seem cheap. So let's do that. Let's go to pedal assist 3. This is the highest mode that I've set for today, and I'm just gonna try to crawl along. The issue I have right now is I'm still in start strength number 5, which is the highest accelerating start strength that the bike has for settings. But still, look, like I am just crawling along at 7 miles an hour, easy. I want a little bit more, twist the throttle a little bit more. There we go, 12 miles an hour, a little bit more. Let's see if we can get 20 right on the dot. There you go, 19, 20. I want more. And it just, every like 1/8 of an inch that you twist more, it just gives you like another 10 miles an hour. It's just so good. Woo. And the other thing that I have to like point out is that the throttle is just instant. I know it's hard to tell right now because this bike is so silent and you can't hear the motor, but maybe just look at my body going back. It is just instant power with the throttle. It is so nice. Okay, let's turn around and check out the cadence sensor. I'm gonna start pedaling now. Yeah. Now. Like a pedal stroke. Just like that Rev 1 DRT that I reviewed a couple weeks ago. It's just instant. Literally half a pedal stroke and the motor kicks in. Yeah. By the time my front foot gets to the back, I'm getting power. It's so quick, so responsive. But you know what I'm gonna do for the rest of the ride? Check this out. I'm gonna go into the settings here and find my start strength. Here it is. And I'm just gonna notch it down to 4. Like, I like a little bit of acceleration. Obviously, we all do. We like to get up to top speed, but number 5 is just, it kicks just a little bit. And I'm worried about, you know, the motor. I'm worried about, you know, hurting the bike almost, right? So I'm just gonna set it in number 4 because it's just smooth. Like, look at this. Like, from a dead stop, I'm just gonna go full throttle. In number 5, I'm like jarring back, but in number 4, it just like such a smooth ramp up. Love it. And still, like, once it gets through that little curve there, it just gives you all the power all the way up. Now, the seats on all of my GOAT power bikes have all been a highlight. These are super well-made seats. They've got lots of nice stiff padding that you don't go all the way through. Really nice to have some support here. And they all have that little lip at the back that kind of hugs the back of your bum to make sure that it doesn't slide off. It's fully waterproof, really well built, and extremely comfortable. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's refreshing to see some fenders that are actually properly outfitted to keep you dry. These fenders are metal and you get it in the back and in the front. Okay, let's see what the headlights look like. I'm gonna turn the bike on here. So this is the bike with just the daytime running lights. It's just a halo around the LED headlight. Not a big impact on the road here, just some extra visibility. I'm gonna turn on the low beam. There we go. Nice and bright, squared up focus spot. Love this headlight. And it even has a high beam too. There we go. A little bit higher to give you some extra reach. Very nice. And here's a close-up of the rear taillight. Again, I'm gonna turn the bike on. So during the day, the taillight doesn't turn on, but it does work with your brakes. Turn signals work as well, left and right. And then when you turn your headlights on, then you get your taillight working all the time. Again, gets brighter with the brakes. And you can even turn on the hazards. Check this out. So the Mini Goat is brand new, but already GOAT Power Bikes has a ton of accessories for it. My bike here is outfitted with the rear rack bracket. I'm thinking of hanging some bags off the back here for some storage. Is it too much? Should I keep it on or off? I don't know yet. And I know that 90% of you guys are gonna be just like me and really want that low standover with the Mini Goat and keep the seat nice and low. But in case you wanted to raise the seat, GOAT Power Bikes does make a bracket that'll take the seat up a few inches. If you got long legs, this will let you straighten out your knees a little bit. So I want to take 2 minutes and talk about bike and ride quality here on the Mini Goat from GOAT Power Bikes. And let's just go through all the components, starting with the contact points. The grips are great. They're basically integrated grips into the throttle and into the controls here for the lights and horn. I really have no downsides to these grips. They're big, they're chunky, they're easy to grab, they've got tons of grip. I have zero problems with them. They're not lock-on grips like most bikes have, but you know what? This is a full twist throttle, right? So all you need is just this, a big, thick, chunky throttle that's got enough grip to twist it back, right? No problems with these, and they feel the same left to right. So perfect. The seat, guys, this seat is absolute money when it comes to comfort. It doesn't have a ton of padding, but that's good. It just keeps the standover height very low, which I love about this bike. But it's got tons of padding. I've been on this bike for well over an hour now, and there are 0 pressure points on my behind. My bum is very happy on this seat. And the contact points, well, I don't know. They're metal Welgo pedals, right? We've seen it on 90–95% of the bikes we ride here on the channel. They're a place to rest your feet, enough grip, they're not gonna wear out. They're good pedals. The frame on the Motor Goat is surprisingly long. If you're a person, when you stop, that wants to get their feet flat on the ground, look at this bike, because it's one of the only bikes that has this low of a standover. And you know, it's actually got quite a bit of reach, which you can adjust, right? The handlebars will go in or out if you've got a longer reach. Also, Goat Power Bikes make a seat riser. So if this stock setting is just too low for you and your knees end up being in your chest, you know, you can easily add a little riser on there if you're a bigger person, and Bob's your uncle. But as far as the build quality, everything on this frame is just bomb-proof. The welds, the paint, it just looks and feels industrial. Like, it looks like someone built this frame by hand in their garage, like welded it themselves, painted it themselves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like handmade industrial, like a craft bike. The suspension on the Goat is really, really smooth. This Fast Ace rear coil is awesome. It's got a 1,000-pound spring, which I thought was gonna be way too stiff. But when you consider the weight of this bike, plus the weight of the rider, right? I mean, it's a lot of weight on that one little spring, and it's got all the adjustability you need. Rebound, compression, everything is there to really tune it. I've tuned it to my weight and the additional battery here, and it gives me perfect support. It's not springy, it's nice and damped. I love this rear shock. And then the front fork is, the front fork's really good too. This bike is so heavy, I can barely lift the front wheel. But you know, the fork feels really soft, really good. Even at speeds, hitting potholes and bumps just makes everything just disappear. No complaints with the suspension on this bike. The brakes, you guys saw, the brakes are really good. Ergonomically, the brake levers feel really good. I've brought them in because I've got smaller hands, right? They're easy to reach. They just feel good. I can brake with one finger. Perfect. And as far as power, you guys saw in the braking test, there's ample power there with these 4-piston hydraulic brakes to bring this bike to a controlled stop well within 20 feet at 28 miles an hour. So really good braking performance. The only thing I need to change on this brake is just align the front caliper, but that's gonna be with 90% of the bikes out there, right? They're gonna take a little bit of fiddling around, right, until you get it perfectly centered. I can use a tool to do that. I forgot to do it before I ride, so it's rubbing a little bit, but you know, that's not a big deal. And finally, the electronics. Guys, Goat Power Bikes have been at it making bikes for a long time now, and the bikes they make are awesome. They've done so many different reiterations and improvements. Like just on this bike alone, this bike was just released this year and they've already gotten an upgraded motor and an upgraded controller. They've got an additional battery option. They have a ton of accessories for it. These guys aren't messing around with their bikes. It's super easy to control. The throttle is very well mapped out. It's very responsive. Even with the power level all the way up and the start strength all the way up, you can easily crawl at 7 or 8 miles an hour, right? And then get whatever speed you want. You are in control of this bike, right? That's what I'm trying to say. The Cadence Sensor is also very accurate and it kicks in right away. You know, it's half a pedal stroke and boom, you get power. And all that power is tunable too. It's super easy to get into the menu. It's not one of those, you know, P0, P6, P whatever. It's all like you got to decipher a code and get the owner's manual out to figure out what you're doing, or even worse, if it's not labeled in the owner's manual, you got to find a YouTube video of someone trying to, you know, fiddle with it and telling you what's what. With this, everything's in English. Everything is there. Everything is labeled properly. The start strength is probably one of the coolest features that you can change with a bike to make it feel the way you want, right? At 5, it's just too much start strength for me, right? So I notched it down to 4. And now it feels money. And finally, the motor. Guys, this little thing here is by far the quietest motor I have ever had the pleasure to ride, bar none. Like, I thought my Lyric Graffiti X was quiet. This takes it to a whole nother level. It is awesome. I love a quiet bike. I love direct drive motors. They're by far my favorites. You can shove so much power into these things and they'll just go like crazy and you won't hear them, right? The bike is completely silent. You don't hear the motor, you don't hear the tires on the pavement, big thick knobbies and a nice steady center channel right along the center of the tire just keeps it super smooth and super quiet. The only thing you hear is just the wind whizzing by your ears. Go Power bikes have an app, so you can Bluetooth this bike to the app just in case they make any firmware upgrades. You can easily do that and update the bike via Bluetooth with your phone. And the bike comes with absolutely every type of light you could possibly want out on the road. A big LED headlight with daytime running lights, low beams, high beams, turn signals front and back. You get hazards, you get a horn that's actually pretty loud. And you know, what else could you want? This thing is fully loaded. And from what I see on the website right now, it starts at $3,000. That's not cheap, but man, like for the amount of bike you get for $3,000, well worth it, in my opinion. When you order your new Mini Goat, you get to choose how big the battery is in here. There's 3 choices. You can go with a 30, a 40, or a 50 amp hour battery right here in the frame. And if 50 amp hours isn't big enough for you, you can choose to add a second battery here with another 20 amp hours. Range report. So I'm at 58% of the battery. I'm down to 75.4 volts and I've hit 34.6 miles. And you know what? I just realized that I never had the second battery turned on. So if we turn the bike off, turn the second battery on, turn the bike back on, I'm back to 99%, 82.8 volts. Stupid. But guys, Goat Power bikes are very honest when it comes to range with their batteries. They know that you're just gonna ride these bikes with the throttle only. And you know what? 30 amp hours is gonna get you about 30 miles, right? Maybe a bit more if you are a really light rider and you're riding really flat ground. You know, if you throw any sort of hills in there and like some top speed and your normal weight, you know, you're gonna get about 1 mile per amp hour of battery capacity that you have. So if you have 30, you're guaranteed to get about 30 miles. If you have 40, 50, 60, 70, you're guaranteed to get up to about 70 miles throttle only. And that's worst case scenario. You want to stretch it a little bit more, lower the power mode, put in some pedal power, and you'll stretch that 70 to, you know, maybe 80, 90, possibly 100 kilometers, but that's pushing it. Right, so $1 million question, who's the Mini Goat really for? Well, for one, it's definitely going to be for an adrenaline junkie that wants a quiet bike. This bike is fast, it's powerful, it goes forever with the battery capacity options that you have at your disposal. Finally, an e-bike brand made a bike with a nice low standover so that you could easily put your feet planted onto the ground and have solid control over your bike. And it might have a low standover, but it is not a small bike. It is very long, which makes it super stable and gives it really good handling. Guys, in short, other than this misaligned caliper up front, this is my perfect bike. Fast, smooth, silent, low standover, comfortable. I mean, there is not a single thing other than that front brake caliper that I would change about this bike. And by what you saw in the video today, if you think you're gonna love this bike too, do yourself a favor. Click on the link below or use your phone's camera to scan that QR code. That'll take you right to Go Power Bike's website. They're always having sales going on, plus my link will give you an additional 5% off your bike. Guys, seriously, Go Power Bikes make my favorite bikes of all time. And this, no bullshit, just took the #1 spot. I want to thank the guys at Go Power Bikes for sending the Mini Goat over. I had a blast reviewing it for you guys today. And if the Mini Goat is not the perfect bike for you, that's okay. Maybe the bike in this video will be more what you're looking for. I'll see you over there.